There we go. Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing? There we go. Just trying to click all my buttons and see what's going on this evening. How's everybody doing this evening? Um, Man, the lighting looks kind of rough, don't it? Why does this look like this? Does my lighting look rough? We got the executive producer here in the studio with us this evening, the fabulous Hollywood renowned legend of Sunset Boulevard, Ava Davis.
Norma Desmond tonight.
But with the Mosifas and the COVID, she just reminded me she's Norman Desmond tonight. Don't y'all love Norman Desmond when she says, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up. That's a little too much, isn't it? Let's see. We're trying to get some lighting in here. You know, for white people, I don't know if black folks know this, but for white people, it's really hard to get the lighting right because Red Fox said one time, there ain't nothing uglier on earth than a 90-year-old white woman because we tend to have a lot of wrinkles. Is that something with my lens over here? See how this looks washed out? Like there's fog, don't it?
Did you try cleaning it?
No. But it does. It looks like something's on the lens.
Seriously, try cleaning it.
Well, I need something to wipe it with. But anyhow, y'all.
You're causing too much confusion now.
Miss Desmond's here in the studio with us. Good evening, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Okay, let's see right here. That might be better. Yeah, that looks better, don't it? Yeah, I think so. All right, so here we go. Cue the music. We're about to start down with the Eddie Williams Sellers Live on the back end, hopefully, of COVID. And yeah, why not? Well, no, leave it off. Let's see. Let me see what else. Yeah, I think it looks richer with it off. All right, let me get my coffee stirred up, y'all. Before we stir up some possum shit here tonight. But anyhow, good evening, everybody. Good evening, Lexi, over on TikTok. Yeah, I'm out of TikTok jail, so I can talk to the world on TikTok again. Couple of things. Well, I put some honey in my tea because my throat's been kind of scratchy. We dealing with pollen here in Atlanta. Let me grab something to steer it with. I figured just a little spot of tea. A little spot of tea with a little bit of honey in it might be soothing to my throat. I was in bed for 3 days, everybody. Hey, Brandy. Good evening to you. Good evening, TikTok. Yeah, I had a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I basically didn't get out of the bed. I just stayed in the bed and slept for 3 days. I had a fever, and at first I thought it was just the pollen, and then I'm like, no, this is more than pollen, you know. And it was some kind of. I took a COVID test, but it was negative. But they say that COVID's mutated so much now that sometimes it don't even pick it up on a test. But anyhow, good evening, everybody out there in TikTok land and Instagram and YouTube and Facebook and sitting here having a sip of tea this evening. Thank you. Thank you for the gifts over there. Lord knows I could use some gifts. Thank y'all for all the hearts and likes and follows. And, you know, it's kind of weird. Am I hollering? I holler, don't I? Anytime I start off it's kind of like when you start off preaching, you just start, praise God, you in the house tonight. Come on, let's worship. And you're like, yeah, calm down. So put the crack down. Well, I have to watch how I say that. TikTok will ban me. Just calm down, simmer down, get your normal talking voice going. But anyhow, good evening, everybody. Yep, Ava's still sick. She's got a fever right now of 101. She's had a fever now for about 2 days. I had fever too. And now my daughter Jill, she's sick in the bed. She's got fever. Savannah's been out of school Friday and Monday and today, 3 days. One of her best friends that came over for the weekends got COVID. Savannah's had a fever for 2 or 3 days. And my former wife, Kathy. Hey, Miss Julie, good evening to you. Yeah, we're going to be fine. I try to look on the good side of stuff. I just told Ava and Jill, and I'm like, well, it's right here at the beginning of spring. We're just a few days from spring here in Atlanta. And although it's going to be 70 degrees tomorrow, already feels like spring. Thank y'all for the hearts over there on TikTok and the likes and the come on in. Y'all come on in. We're going to talk about something for a few minutes. I might have enough in me to do about 30 minutes this evening, just kind of chitter and chatter, see what everybody's up to. I came in, I worked today. I typically work on Mondays, but I felt good enough today. I wanted to get out of the house, just get out of the house, after 3 or 4 days laying in bed. And so I went over to the shop but when I came home, I stopped by Kroger and got Ava and I, they got a little thing over at Kroger. You know what I've realized? We ain't done this often, but Kroger, they have baked chicken and fried chicken, and they got the greens and the peas and stuff back there in that little place where they make sandwiches. So you can get a 2-piece white baked chicken dinner with 2 vegetables and a little roll, whatever. It's only $7. Man, that's cheap in today's time when you go out and pay $10 for a hot dog. But anyhow, I stopped and got me and her a piece of baked chicken and some turnips. Other thing too, y'all, I've got where I like turnips better than collards. To me, turnips is better. Hey, Miss Rhonda, good evening to you over there. Isn't this time change kind of weird? It just feels weird at the evening time and morning time. It takes us a week or two to kind of get used to all of it. Good evening over there, TikTok. Yeah. Shake my head like that over on Facebook because TikTok, they're putting doohickeys on my head. It means they're putting a couple nickels in the bank. Thank you for the heart. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Y'all can tell I'm just glad to be alive. I did a post this morning where that Tom Brokaw, I think the name of the book was The Year of Vulnerability. And he wrote about turning 70 is kind of the age of vulnerability. He said, because, if a 8-year-old kid gets the flu and it dies, people are like, oh my God, that's shocking. An 8-year-old child died of the flu. So if a 70-year-old person gets the flu and died, they're like, yeah, it was probably their time. They've lived a long life. And back then when I used to read stuff like that, I thought, well, yeah, that's true and all. But now in September that I turned 70, I'm like, no, 70 is not the year of vulnerability, and since he wrote that, I was talking about, he's had some kind of serious cancer health scare in his life. And for years, they thought he was out of here. And now he's 85 and he's come through it. And he's living on a ranch in Montana or somewhere and still kicking and doing articles and stuff. Collards are more bitter, ain't they? I got why I really like turnips. Turnips is good. But man, Ava will cook a pot of collards and black-eyed peas, not for just New Year's, but like sometimes other times. Yes, been missing the lives. Yeah, it's kind of, I haven't felt good the last week or so. And Ava, she just she got up for a little bit, but she's in the thick of it now, or whatever. But anyhow, I seen today a couple of things this evening. I seen today what I was going to say when I came home from work. I sat down on the sofa for a minute and I watched NBC Nightly News, which y'all people that follow me a little bit or we keep up with each other know I've just been tuned out of the news lately, and I'm feeling much better. Connie Bratcher over on my Facebook page. That's my cousin Connie, Aaron and Shirley's daughter. I'm feeling much better. Ava's got a fever of 101 this evening. She needs the victory, y'all. If y'all know what I'm talking about, bless her heart. I rose up and defeated the devil, and I claimed victory over that illness. Ava needs the victory this evening. Are y'all sure you don't have the flu? I don't know, Betty, over on Facebook. Maybe it's short. It kind of felt flu-like to me. I tell you the weird thing. I thought it was my pollen because I went ahead the other day, one day last week, and got the doctor to send me over a prescription of Zyrtec, and because I have to do it every spring, sometimes even all through the summer, all through the fall, about 6 months out of the year, I take a pollen medicine of some sort. But I can. It's kind of weird that, like a week or so ago, as we do our walk in the afternoon, I tell Ava, I'm like, man, pollen's out. I can taste it. It gets in my throat. It's kind of like, it's just dry, whatever. So I started taking the Zyrtec or whatever. And then, man, my eyes got swollen. Then my nose was just pouring, and then I'm coughing and I got a fever. And then for like 3 days, I'm just like so lethargic. I'm just like, and Ava somehow got 2 or 3 bags of jelly beans. She goes through her jelly bean season. And I basically just laid in the bed, covered up for 3 days, just eating a handful of jelly beans every once in a while to survive.
Trying to get some more jelly beans.
Are you out of jelly beans? People are saying hey to you, but Ava, I told her drink her a cup because she needs the victory, y'all. That's what that was. She's got the tea. She needs the victory. Back in Pentecostal days, go to church where they say, "Oh, that's just the devil, hon. You just need the victory. Just claim victory over it. Just declare victory and move on from it." I've got as I've got older, I love talking about, and even in silliness, some of the old ways. So anyhow, good evening, everybody. Top of the evening to you. Hope you're doing well this evening. But I tell you the other thing too that I thought about the last few days, when you're hacking and coughing and sickly, man, you can go from feeling wonderful, and you're just on the ladder, you're putting up sheetrock, you're getting your 2-mile walk in, you're baking your little chicken, and you just everything kind of filters around how you physically feel, how you physically health-wise, and so. And things can just change in a moment. You could be out there putting up sheetrock and haul off and hit your fingernail with a hammer accidentally. The rest of your day, you don't care about nothing. You just, oh my God, my fingernail, it's just my finger's killing me. Just everything can just shift and change in a second, in a moment. And so PJOA says flu at this time of year is horrific. We've even seen it, flu B now. Stay active and hydrated. Yeah, we've been trying to make sure we drink. I've got where all I drink is water anyway, mainly just water. And I was drinking Gatorade, the little bottles of Gatorade, and I looked on it, and I know it's got electrolytes in it, but it's like 80 calories, which ain't bad, but it got like 21 grams of sugar in it. I'm like, I'm trying to watch the sugar. Hey, Miss Felicia, good evening to you. Thank y'all for the gifts over here, y'all, and the hellos and the hope you get betters. And Ava's sitting in there on the sofa. I brought her some Kroger baked chicken home for dinner. But anyhow, y'all, I came home and I was watching Lester Holt on NBC News. Hey there, beautiful inside out. Good evening. Get her to the doctor. When you're older, you can't deal with it as easily. Faith needs work. Yeah. Believe me, I don't need. Hey, good heavens, a hat and a mustache. Believe me, I don't have to say a word about Ava going to the doctor. Me and her both are kind of, what do you call it when there's a word for going to the doctor a lot? Me and her both are hypochondriacs. because we'll run to the doctor in a split moment. There's an urgent care on 2 or 3 of them right around us in Jefferson Park. Ava run over to the urgent care. She'll get us. She's going to the urgent care. So we're pretty good. But anyhow, I was watching Lester Holt. Hey there, Danielle Dunn over on TikTok. Good evening to you too. I was watching Lester Holt on NBC News, who somehow there's something weird about how he's still youthful and his ratings are right up there at the top of the best of them, and yet he's kind of been pushed out of NBC. There's I don't know what's going on, but got that Llamas guy taking over at some point. I survived all the water crackers, chicken noodle soups, and Code Red Mountain Dew. Yeah. But I was watching him, and I ain't watched much news lately, and I ain't kept up with much lately because it's just really traumatic to see where the country's at and what's going on to the country. And I know a lot of you MAGA people out there that watch this. You're like, oh, it's not traumatic for me, old brother Eddie. I'm glad that Trump's in office now. Well, that's fine. But it's very traumatic for a lot of the country to see what's going on in the country. And thank you, y'all, for sharing the live over here. Let's get some people in the room. Come on. Hello, everybody. But anyhow, watching NBC News tonight with Lester Holt, there was just a story on there. I ain't really kept up with it. And he said since December, Tesla stock has dropped 50%. Now, y'all, that is huge. I mean, that's massive. And when I was telling Ava about it, I'm like, that just seems odd to me that a company that's as valued as a Tesla, the stock can plummet 50% in just 2-3 months. And Ava says, well, that's good. And I know a lot of other people like to hear this, says, well, fuck them. You know, that's good for them, that neo-Nazi running around trying to disrupt all these other people's lives in the federal government. And but Ava made the point, said, you know, I don't care how many billions and billionaire dollars you got. Most of all these people are over leveraged, highly leveraged. Yeah, on paper, you say, well, they's worth $400 billion on paper. But all of it's robbing Peter to pay Paul, and this many billions here and this many billions there. And if somehow part of their portfolio collapses, it can cause a domino effect. And they just, you know, you don't never get too big to fail. We saw that in 2008 and 2009. When you had huge banks like Citicorp and all these huge insurance companies, says, oh, they're too big to ever fail. They collapsed like dominoes, and the world almost collapsed around them. And do we wish that whatever these billions that Elon Musk has accumulated would collapse around him? I do, because I think karma has to play a role in this. He's up there scoffing and laughing at workers that work for the VA and the Social Security Administration. Did y'all hear in the National Weather Center, the NOAA, the word for it? Did y'all hear where they went in there and laid off? I've seen a former weatherman that's on Facebook that's just recently retired. He posted on there that they let 1,000 people go that forecast, scientists in the Weather Bureau that forecast the oncoming hurricanes in the hurricane season. And man, the MAGA people went after him so heavy that he had to take it down. He said, I can't withstand all this brutality coming at me. And he said, I was just giving people information that they went in there and let 1,000 scientists go from the NOAA that are scientists that predict when the hurricanes are coming. And they said they're warning another 1,000 is going to be let go. So, but anyhow, yeah, for Elon to go around and just, you know, he had a thing where he had the chainsaw on stage where he's just going to cut all these people's jobs, just tens and tens of thousands of federal people who also the government's going to have to provide unemployment checks, insurance, going to have to help them get jobs. Betty Smith said, living in Oklahoma, the weather center layoff mess is scary. Yeah, I've been so out of the loop. I I didn't even know nothing about the weather bureau laying off thousands of people that are the people that warn us. And, they've got this down to a science now where when the hurricanes form over there off the coast of Africa and they track them a week before they even get to us, said, well, they'll probably come right up through Charleston. I mean, it's pretty amazing what they can forecast with that and what they can do with it. Especially Pet Cemetery, man, is what I call him over the health stuff. Yeah, the stocks will drop in the million. Yeah, that's true too. I've seen that. They say, is Trump deliberately collapsing stocks just so the billionaires, it's like scavengers, can go in there and just buy up all these little companies and all who's collapsing. So anyhow, to start with, Miss Diane over on Facebook. Hey, I saw your pictures down in Key West. We was down in Key West in July. Love it down there. When I was coming home from Key West, I met a young man who worked for the Navy Department. He was in Key West for work. He told me while he was there, his government credit card was canceled, email was shut down, and he was just trying to get back home to Norfolk, Virginia. Yeah, y'all, you don't treat people like that. You just don't do that to people. These people have children. They got nursery bills to pay. They got groceries to buy. That's the thing that gets me about all the MAGA evangelical white Christians. They just think like these people are little demons and Satans, and just fuck them. Just fuck them. We don't care if the kids don't get to go to nursery. We don't care if they mortgage class. Just fuck them. That's just what the preachers and the Sunday school teachers, the attitude they have for them. It would be something if they had empathy and they just said, my heart goes out to them. I think the government needs to tighten its belts and they need to let people go. But they don't have that attitude. If you see them online, on TikTok, on Facebook, their whole attitude is like, oh, just fuck them. Who cares about them? They're just dead weight. And Elon Musk gets on there and makes them out like they're just scum and suckers and scabbages, and Donald Trump, he gets on there and he talks about they're just fraud. They're just full of fraud, and maybe it's just me. Maggots don't need no sons. Maybe it's just me, y'all, but I thought about this the other day. With Donald Trump and Elon Musk and the other oligarchs and billionaires that's now taking over the country, have y'all ever known rich people that just always seem like everybody was just trying to get something over on them? Everybody's going to try to pick their pocket. Everybody was out to try to steal a dollar from them. That's the way Donald Trump, you're right, but they won't come out and say fuck. Yeah, that they won't, because they're too much of a Christian to say fuck, but they're not so much of a Christian to have the whole attitude of just fuck them, And so, but it reminds me like these rich people up there in Washington that when he's the thief and the con man, beautiful inside out. That's how. But rich people always think like poor people, just trying to just pick their pockets. Watch them. Do y'all remember watching the movie Driving Miss Daisy? Miss Daisy in that movie thought the Hoke, the guy that played Hoke, she said, watch him. Told her maid, said, watch him. And then she accused him of stealing something. And then the maid said, no, it wasn't him. He didn't get that. But she was this rich old woman, lived right over here on Ponce de Leon, that house where they filmed that movie. But in that movie, she kind of that's not even a word, epitomized rich white people that just think other people are going to try to steal their medicine out of their medicine cabinet. Doesn't try to steal their mayonnaise out of the refrigerator. Like they just always, that's what Donald Trump reminds me of, and Elon Musk. We got all this money, and everybody else down there working at the VA, they just out there trying to just steal from the government. They just thieves and robbers trying to steal the taxpayers' money. I don't even understand that kind of, logic toward other human beings, and they let the wrong people get rich. It is weird, ain't it? So anyhow, Tesla stock has plummeted by 50%, and that's a huge loss of money. So what happens today? I'm watching, this is all within a 30-minute NBC nightly news that came on at 6:30. So what does the big con man that's the president of the United States do? He parks a Tesla in front of the White House, and he stands out there in his $10,000 suit with his spray painted orange face and his orange colored hair. And he talks about he went down to Tesla and bought a Tesla and parked it in front of the White House to try to encourage MAGA to buy Teslas. Let me tell you, Mr. Donald Trump, MAGA is not the kind of crowd that can buy Teslas. If you can tell me how these folks living in Cleveland, Georgia, right up here in that trailer park, where them trailers are about 20 years old and they got the Trump signs hanging out on the road, these people are not going to buy no Tesla. They can't even afford to buy a pickup from Ford, much less a $50,000 Tesla. So anyhow, it's just weird that you have a president of the United States out there and trying to sell Teslas in the front of the White House. That's true, but Betty Smith over here says Donald Trump ain't never driven anything but a golf cart. Yeah, he probably don't even know how to drive. Has anybody ever seen him drive a truck? Y'all remember when Ronald Reagan would put his dog in his truck, or George W. would get in his truck out on his ranch in Texas, and they drive the old pickup trucks around the ranch? Donald Trump, he probably never learned to ride a bicycle, and he never will be able to drive, So anyhow, good evening, Digits Mom, to you. That's exactly what I thought. What's he going to do with the Tesla? He doesn't know how to drive. And somebody else said Trump can't even spell Tesla, much alone know how to drive it. So anyhow, so that was the first thing I thought about. And nobody had read anything about this other thing in the paper or anything. And I'm sitting at work and I'm flipping through TikTok. I love TikTok, y'all. You get so much better news unfiltered from just people on TikTok than you do any of this. MSNBC, NBC, CNN, ABC, all that. I've just kind of lost faith in all that. And probably because of Donald Trump. He said that it's all crooked so long. And then after he won the election, I almost believed him. Like, my God, didn't they turn tail and run like a scalded dog, as they say in the South? Why should we trust them now? Why should we? They're all big corporations that's owned by the oligarchs, the same ones that's in the White House. He can't tweet properly, let alone drive a computer. Y'all got it going. Where's Ava? Ava's in here on the sofa with a fever, and she's getting over. We're gonna speak that good energy out. She's getting over the tail end of whatever this crud we got on. If she don't get no better in a day or two, she can run to the doctor. She just went to the doctor the other day, though. He don't even know how to change his diaper. How's he going to drive a Tesla? Yeah. So we don't have no love for Donald Trump, because he's full of shit, to tell you the truth. That's why we don't have much love for him. We don't have much patience, and we certainly don't have much faith in him, and because he just looks like he's a man that's full of shit. He's got so much shit backed up in him, it's turned him orange. The flu is going around like crazy down here in Louisiana. Yeah, it's going around crazy here. My daughter Jill's got it. Savannah's got it. I got it. Ava's got it. And so, and some of you Holy Ghost filled Pentecostal Baptist church going Baptist Costal people that's offended by a person using the word shit or full of shit or enough of that fucking shit. Just pray to Jesus about it. Yeah. So that's one thing. We got a president selling Teslas on the steps of the White House. Donald Trump sure has got where he loves Elon, doesn't he? That is kind of weird, isn't it? It's going to be something when Elon turns on him and starts making fun of him and mocking him all. You mark my word, probably within a year, Elon will tweet about Donald Trump's a big fat turd. And then Donald Trump will say, well, he was always a crook and always been a crook and this and that and the other. And then it's like we're watching a bunch of little weird high school boys, isn't it? Weird. Gonna be the best memes ever. Yeah. Yeah, some people do think he owes Elon a lot, Ashton says over on TikTok. Betty says, why do white races always get fake tans? Lip plumper. and butt implants. It is crazy, isn't it? Yeah. Stephanie says, I miss Sleepy Joe. All right, here's the other thing. I was flipping through TikTok because I know I'll run out of steam here in a minute. I was flipping through TikTok, and I seen where Rosie O'Donnell, she posted today that she has applied for citizenship in Ireland, and she's moved to Dublin. Or she didn't say Dublin. I'm getting ahead of that, but she's moved to Ireland. She's bought a home there, buying a home there, and she said for her mental sanity, and I think Rosie has a lot of threats against her, and for the safety of her family and her little daughter that she's still raising, she wanted to go be in an environment that was more safe for her. And I've always thought the world of Rosie O'Donnell because she was the one that got the crazy Donald Trump to show himself for the first time back when Rosie was on The View. And Donald Trump was saying something, Donald Trump had bought the Miss America pageant, and Rosie, he was something, whatever. And Betty said, I saw that you sharing her post, very courageous of her. Yeah, she moved. And, she's got her apartment in New York City on the market. It might be sold by now, but she had her apartment for sale. I looked at pictures of it because I love Rosie one night. And her apartment was listed for $5.9 million. And I thought, man, that's a beautiful apartment. Look at that view. And showing the rooms and all. And I show you how my mind works. And then I've looked at more details of it. Well, the association fee every month was $10,000 a month on that $5.9 million apartment. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, man, I just wouldn't want to pay $10,000 a month association fee, as if I was going to pay $6 million for the apartment. But I guess if you're going to pay $6 million for an apartment in New York City, a $10,000 a month association fee would. But I'm like, no, I'm not going to pay no $10,000 a month. I'll have to pass on that as if I was going to go to New York and buy her apartment. But anyhow, I posted her TikTok on my Facebook page, and I listened to her, and you can tell she's lost weight. She's open about the fact that she's on a Wegovy, like Ozempic. She's lost about 50 pounds, and you can tell she's aging, like me. Me and her's getting close to the same age. But I've always liked people that had courage. And while other people seem to really despise or not like Jane Fonda or Rosie O'Donnell or the quarterback that took a knee at the football games, there's something about me that tends to admire people that show courage and will speak up and get the blowback, because the blowback will come back, and it can ruin, even the Dixie Chicks, when they stood up against the invasion of Iraq, it cost them their career and millions of dollars, and they were harassed. But I just like the fact that people have courage, and back in the old days, when Joan Baez and the guy that wrote all the songs about Don't Think Twice, It's All Right, and the answer Blowing in the Wind, and all these people, and you had all the great writers, singers about the movements and all. They wasn't banished from society like people nowadays are that speak out. And look what Bob Dylan, and look what Kathy Lee, not Kathy Gifford, who's the comedian that did the thing with the Trump hand. Yeah, and that's pretty out there. And she was on New Year's Eve every New Year's for years with Anderson Cooper, and she sold out the Fox Theaters and Radio City Music Hall, and man, she did that one thing, and MAGA put her out of business. Put her out of business. I was also watching on TikTok. I started reposted on Facebook a group of about 50 Kathy Griffith. Yeah, in my head I kept saying Kathy Lee Gifford. Which is a whole different Kathy. But Kathy Griffin, her career just destroyed. And she had all these health issues and lung cancer and surgeries and all like that. I've seen people go through those stressful times, from the pastor down here at Newburgh to Eddie Long to Kathy Griffith to other celebrities that got caught in a whirlwind like that, and their health collapsed on them because it'll kill you. Hey, D.T. Johnson. Yeah, I don't know about this person right here. Yeah. Yeah, I think I got a troll on the Facebook part over here. But anyway, but anyhow, seeing where she moved out of the country and applied for citizenship to Ireland. And man, I've never been to Ireland. Some of you people have, but man, they say the beauty of Ireland is just beautiful over there. And the people are real earthy people and down to earth people. They don't like Trump either over there. He's got a golf course or something over there, and they've been in dispute with him forever. So, but it kind of is sad that people feel like, and a lot of people, if you go on TikTok, I've followed this. A couple of people's moved to France. A couple of people's moved to Nigeria. I don't know. I just follow these people that have moved out of the country, and like, yeah, I'm just kind of done with it. I had often thought that if it wasn't for my grandkids, well, I'd say my two daughters, and if I was some of the people that, if I wasn't so close to my kids and grandkids, I could enjoy living seaside down on the Pacific coast somewhere in Costa Rica, down around Capes or somewhere, Manuel Antonio, and it's just a different environment. There's a lot of tension and a lot of energy going on in the country, and it weighs on you. People's like, oh, you just have to let it go. Well, it's kind of like if you're living in a house with an alcoholic, and every day he's going to be drinking and start breaking stuff, it's hard to kind of just let it go. It's all that energy and tension and nastiness going on. No, it wasn't Iceland, San. It was, I thought she said Ireland. Ireland. Yeah, Ireland, because she mentioned Dublin in it also. And a friend of hers, Tom, somebody that has kind of took her under a wing, showed her all around Dublin. Yeah, Ireland. Yeah. So anyhow, I'm enjoying some Slippery MT this evening, made by Throat Coat. Put me a little honey in it to help my throat. Figured I lay down and actually fell asleep when I got home because my body's real tired. But I just figured I'd get up and do a live, say hello to everybody, talk about a couple of things like the Tesla stock dropping. The other thing I thought about with Tesla stock dropping, people speak in different ways. There's a young man that we met during the campaign that came to the shop. Ava's not in here. I could ask her who it is. I don't mean no disrespect. It's hard for me to remember stuff like 2 or 3 months ago. But he's on my Facebook page, and a friend of mine, Lisa, I'd met her, and he's working at the Democratic headquarters, and he's her godson, and came by the shop and saw Ava and I a couple of times, and came with his godmom, Lisa, and we went and had tacos or whatever. Well, he had a Tesla. And since all this happened, he sold his Tesla. And I'm just thinking, if I know somebody, and my world's real small, and I know somebody who had a Tesla, and they, because of politics, sold it and got rid of it because he didn't want to be identified as somebody that supported Elon Musk, then how many other people? Evidently, there's a lot of people out there that has gotten rid of their Teslas. Yeah, it is hard to let it go, Diane. We are seeing our country dismantled. And I'll tell you the thing about it is too, y'all. If they can't sell it, they're getting those stickers. Yeah, the lease ends in November. No more for him. Yeah. I see y'all. I see all the comments over there. Wow, she always said she was moving. There's just a lot going on in the country, and here's the thing that I don't want to do, and I'm just saying this for myself. I'm just saying, I don't want to ever for this to be normal for me. I know that we've been dealing with Trump for 8 years, and a lot of people yawn. Well, we had it the first time, we have it again, and everything will be all right. None of this shit is normal. None of it's normal. Going in there, and I've seen on CNN, I was flipping through the other afternoon, and they're already predicting now. They're predicting now that there's going to be great delays in Social Security, that they're letting tens of thousands of people at the Social Security Administration go, just letting them go, just closing whole sections of it and departments of it now. And so when somebody, which happens occasionally, a lot of us, we need our Social Security check every month. So if something happens, it gets lost, it gets delayed, well, you're just screwed. You're not going to be able to get through to even try to figure out when am I going to get my check? And they're purposely trying to cause disruptions within the system. And I don't there's something that's fishy about it, y'all. And here's what I'm saying. I'm not on here trying to Chelsea Diane. I work for Medicare and talk to people all day, and they say many local Social Security offices are closed. That's what I'm hearing too, that something's going on with Social Security. Republicans have always tried to figure out a way to shut down Social Security. Y'all, there's something fishy going on. And MAGA is asleep at the wheel, and they're like, oh, fuck them. Oh, just fuck them. Who cares about them? Until they wake up one day and like, how do we ever put that mess back in the bottle? Once it's been depleted and destroyed and screwed over, how do you ever get the kind of people that can get it back right again? Not that it's right now. Believe me, it's got a lot of problems across all governments. Offices. But good Lord, there's something weird going on in the country. And people can say it's a scare tactic that I come on here and do. I say I say you should be scared. If this don't wake you up and scare you, what the hell's wrong with you? Somebody needs to scare you, because there's something not right about this. There's something that's just really off kilter with what's going on. If you didn't, I'm just going to put this out there. If you didn't know any better, which none of us do, it's almost like Russian agents have infiltrated our government, and they're trying to manipulate the MAGA crowd of people to believe that by destroying America, they're saving America. And y'all, there's something really off center about what's going on right now. You know, that it's just something ain't adding up. You know, why would any president of the United States want to collapse the economy? When they asked Donald Trump today, said, do you believe we're heading for a recession? He said, maybe. You know, like most presidents would be like, oh, we're going to have faith. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. Donald Trump's like, maybe, you know, we prices going up. Probably, you know, like they're deliberately wanting to. And here's the thing about it is Donald Trump knows that MAGA is so bought in now on this level that he can, if they were agents for Russia that was here to destroy the country, MAGA, all they have to do is give MAGA the pliers and the screwdrivers, and MAGA will destroy the country for them. That's how weird all this is. Very, very strange, very weird. Yeah, I agree with that, Betty. Yeah, it's crazy. I see all the comments on all the different things. I can't answer to all of them. I've been on for 45 minutes. Look at me. I must be getting well. You know, I got a big mouth, y'all. They didn't call me old long-winded preaching Eddie back in my 30s for nothing. I could come on there preaching at 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock. I'd be like, well, it's about time to let y'all. Them poor people had to sit there for 2 hours and endure all that and then get up and go to work the next day. But they loved it. Yeah, so anyway, it's strange times we're living in. Rosie's moved out of the country. Donald Trump selling Teslas in front of the White House. You know, it wouldn't surprise me to see him sitting at the Oval Office saying, here's some pork and beans right here, y'all. Y'all go out and buy some pork and beans. And whatever happened to that fruit nut cake, that pillow guy? Is he still selling pillows around? And whatever happened to Rudy Giuliani? And it is kind of weird, though, that here we have a president of the United States that's a convicted fraud in the courts of law, a convicted sex offender, and he's got a White House that's full of ex-cons and criminals and Nazis, and the evangelicals think they've hit the jackpot. Like, oh, glory be to Jesus! Didn't the Lord save us? It's just weird, strange times we living in, isn't it? Just weird. Just weird, y'all. All right, I've said my bit for tonight. Love y'all. I'm gonna sip my coffee. See, that's an old age thing. I'm gonna sip my tea, but you saw it, didn't you? You heard it. I'm gonna sip my coffee. That's what happens to you when you get 70 years old. Tea becomes coffee. Milk becomes Kool-Aid. A burger becomes a hot dog. You just random words just pop out of it. I think when I go lay down, though, I think of all the characters that I've watched on TV over the last 10 years or so, and boy, there's been a lot of them, from Ozark to whoever. You know, y'all remember that little stringy-haired girl like, I'm gonna fucking kill you? Wasn't Ozark good? Thank you, Danielle. Y'all too. Y'all have a good night. But of all my characters, I'm going to go lay down and watch the first episode of the final season of the Righteous Gemstones. And but of all my characters, I love Baby Brother Billy. And the Righteous Gemstones is just a farce of outlandish, goofy, crazy stupidness. But it does play on people that have been around church world and see how ludicrous some of it is. You know, Pentecostal preachers in their poly pastel blue polyester suits that come from a cheap store somewhere, and the loud cologne, you know, Old Spice. Like, God's coming for you, son. God's coming for you. He knows what you've been up to. Like, oh, Lord, please don't come for me. But Baby Brother Billy, he's so full of shit, but you just love him anyhow. He's just a character. And so I'm going to go watch him, and I'm hoping he gets and in the White Lotus, the guy that thank you there, Miss Linda. The guy that plays Baby Brother Billy is a star of the White Lotus, and I've watched 4 episodes of that. Oh my God, he's good in that, and he's so cute and handsome in that one too. And then somebody else told me another series he's in. I'll have to go find it and watch it. But Baby Brother Billy, you know, he's. You know, baby brother Billy, he loves you. He loves you. Yeah. But I'm going to go watch an episode of that. I love y'all. Let me get out of here. I'm feeling better, though. Good evening, everybody. Yeah, we should be concerned. We should be worried. Good evening, TikTok.